Good morning. It is a Thursday morning here in Cornwall. My name is Anniken. I design knitting patterns. I teach knitting workshops online and in person, and I sell yarn through my website yarnaddict.co.uk. In today's video, I'm actually going to do something which I got the idea from when I was watching one of my favourite YouTube channels, Love and Stitches with Natalie in New York. She did a video recently where she timed how much she knitted during a week, or she kind of tracked how much she knitted during the week. So I've been thinking about doing something similar and I just haven't gotten around to it. And I was actually going to start it on Monday, and then I just didn't get around to it because I had a really busy day on Monday, and then I didn't get around to it on Tuesday. Then yesterday I was out most of the day, and I thought maybe I'll do it next week and start on a Monday, but my parents are arriving at the end of next week, so I'm worried about having time to if I do from like Monday to Sunday, I'm worried about having time to edit it and all that kind of stuff, because that's when we're picking my parents up. So I thought, why can't I start in the middle of the week? Why do I have to start on the Monday? So we're going to start the week on a Thursday. And I'm going to try and track for 7 days. I'm going to try and track how much I knit. And the reason I decided to do it now is because this week I've actually been tracking how much I've been knitting on their particular projects. Every time I knit on this particular project, which you'll see later, I've hit the timer on my phone, and every time I stop knitting I paused it. So I kept track of how much I've been knitting on that particular project this week, because I just wanted to see how long it would take me. I went through a period a few years ago where I would time how long I took to knit various projects, so that when people ask me, which I do a lot, how long would it take you to knit X, I could say, oh, about 40 to 50 hours or whatever. Obviously I do knit quite fast, so I'm probably not an accurate representation of how long it takes to knit something, because I am a fast knitter, and obviously I knit, most of what I knit is what I design, so I know what I'm doing. I'm not knitting something that's brand new, techniques I don't know, that kind of thing. So I probably do knit faster than the average knitter. As you can see, I'm dressed very summery again. It is very warm in Cornwall again today. I think this is supposed to be the last day of this warm, hot weather we've had for the last 2 weeks. I think this is the last day, and then we're going to have a few days of slightly more overcast and the odd shower, I think. And then I think it's supposed to get better again next week. So I am starting this video by just doing the introduction. It is about 9:20 in the morning. I've been spending like 15 minutes fighting with my laptop and the internet. Our internet is rubbish, and because normally my husband works from home as well, but he's gone into the office today, so I'm on my own. So I was hoping maybe the internet would work better, but it's always really bad in the morning. And I wanted to write my newsletter this morning, and I've just given up and thought I'll record a couple of videos instead. And then hopefully after I've walked the dog and had a break later, the internet will be working. So this will be kind of like a vlog style video. I probably won't record every single time I knit, but I will check in regularly and tell you what I'm knitting and how long I'm knitting for, and do like a catch up every day, probably at the start of every day, of what I knitted today previously, because most of my knitting time is actually late afternoon and evening. So I try and finish work between kind of like 3 and 4. I'm slightly addicted to watching The Real Housewives. I have seen all the series, all the programs, so most of what's being shown on telly here is repeats, and I've usually seen them before, so it's kind of easy, just chilled, relaxed TV watching. And the last couple of weeks I've mostly been sitting in the garden watching it. Sometimes it starts at 3, at the moment it's starting at 4, and there's 2 episodes. Occasionally it'll start around 3ish and there's 3 episodes. And I tend to, that's why I aim to finish work between 3 and 4. And then I sit down, put the telly on, and I watch The Real Housewives and knit till it's time for dinner. Then we have dinner, and then we watch the news, and I knit some more, and then I basically knit all evening, unless we got things we need to do, like go shopping, grocery shopping and that kind of thing. So most of my knitting is afternoon and evening, but I will try and track how much I'm knitting and share with you, and we'll see at the end of the week how much knitting I get done. So I hope you enjoyed this video. That was quite a long introduction. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. So Alfie and I are out walking in the sunshine in the park. Small park near us, not very big. We just kind of walk through here and then we do a little bit of a loop through some housing estates and things. But my first bit of knitting today, I have walked the dog this morning and came back and sat down to do a bit of knitting. I picked up my phone and I started scrolling on Instagram and stuff, you know what it's like. So my kind of half an hour knitting time turned into 10 minutes. And that's what I've done from that marker. So not a lot. 6 rows, I think it is. Obviously one row had beads on it, so that's a bit slower, but that's all the knitting I've done so far today. 10 minutes, not a lot. Now I have to go back to work and write my newsletter, and then I'm going to do some more knitting at lunchtime. But that's what 10 minutes knitting looks like. It is lunchtime on Thursday and I've come out to the garden to do a bit of knitting and have some lunch. So that's my lunch: scrambled egg salad, avocado, peaches, bit of olive, and a couple of drinks. And that's my knitting. And it is very, very windy. Yeah, let's get a bit of lunchtime knitting in. Look how windy it is. Okay, I came inside. I stayed outside. I ate half my lunch. It was so windy. Salad leaves are blowing off my plate. It was just so windy out there. My hat blew off. It is Friday and it's nearly lunchtime. It's about midday. I have been doing a bit of knitting this morning. Actually done quite a lot of knitting this morning, and I have been editing some videos. That's why I've been doing a lot of knitting, so I've been knitting while I've been editing videos. Just waiting for one to save at the moment. And I have walked the dog, and I'm going to just wait for this video to save and then probably log off for the day, I think. I need to pop into Plymouth to collect part of an order that my husband picked up yesterday, but there was a bit missing, so I've got to go and collect that because he needs it for a DIY job he's doing this weekend. So I thought I would just let you know how much I knitted yesterday. So I'm keeping notes. I'm keeping notes on my phone, and then I'll transfer it into here because I use my phone for recording. So yesterday was a bad day when it comes to knitting. I don't know why I did so little knitting yesterday. I didn't do anything in the morning, didn't do much at lunchtime, a little bit at lunchtime, but not much, like 10 minutes maybe. And I didn't do a lot in the afternoon. And then in the evening, I did actually spend an hour or maybe a bit over an hour winding some yarn for a new design and blocking a sweater. It's probably about an hour and 15-20 minutes. I had to wind 3 skeins of the equivalent of like sock yarn, 300 gram skeins, and the first one was quite tangled, so I had to wind it by hand. I set up my ball winder and Swift because I thought that'd be quicker, but I had to wind the first one by hand because it was just so tangled. The other 2 were fine, thank goodness. So, but it was a bit time consuming. And then this morning, I didn't sleep very well last night, so I actually got up in the middle of the night and I did about 40 minutes of knitting, I think, on my lace scarf. I think part of the reason I did so little knitting yesterday is because I'm getting slightly bored with this lace scarf now. I think it's day 6 or day 7 today working on it. Oh, it's day 7 today working on it. and I should finish it today if I work on it this afternoon, because when I weighed my yarn, when I worked on it in the middle of the night last night, I had about 20 grams left, I think, so I'm nearly done. Normally I allow about 10% safety margin, so about 10 grams, so I'm nearly done, which I can't wait, because I've enjoyed knitting it, but after working on it every day for 7 days, I'm getting slightly bored with it. I want to get back to the poncho I was working on before that and finish that as well. Hopefully over the weekend or next week, we'll see. So yesterday I knitted 105 minutes in total. So that's 105 minutes, that's an hour and 45 minutes. I'm tired today, so mental maths is not my strong point at the best of times, but especially not today because I'm tired. So that will do good. So most of my knitting this week has been on this new lace scarf I've been working on, and I have the times on the other page here. And yesterday I did work on a couple other things a little bit, but if I just look at how much I have knitted on this lace scarf, the most I did was on day 2, which would have been Sunday, when I did 214 minutes. And then there was one day when I did 170 minutes, and one day I did 169 minutes. And day 5, that was Wednesday, when I was out a lot, I only did 55 minutes of knitting, and that was the only knitting I did on Wednesday. So I did less than an hour on Wednesday, which is pathetic. I think I spent a lot of time scrolling on my phone, and I was quite tired because I hadn't slept very well the night before. I've had, since we came back from holiday just over 2 weeks ago, 16 days ago, I've had quite a few nights when I haven't slept very well. I don't know why. So I'm tired today, so I'm going to go and I'm going to wait for this video to save, and then I'm going to go and drive into Plymouth and collect this parcel and do some other errands nearby, and I'm also going to go to the post office and drop off some parcels. So I'll probably be out for 2.5 hours. No, yeah, 2.5, 3 hours maybe. 2.5 hours probably. And then I'm going to come home and just knit for the rest of the afternoon. Thing is, normally I sit down and I knit and I think I'm knitting, whereas I'm like picking up my phone and looking at Instagram, looking at Twitter. And what I've done this week is every time I picked up my phone to look at something else, I've hit the pause on my timer. So, and it's made me realise how often I pick up my phone and scroll. Whereas I think I always say to people, you know, I knit for 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon and then I knit all evening. But I don't actually get that much knitting done, which has kind of shocked me a little bit this week, to be quite honest. So anyway, it is Friday. What I have been knitting today, I can't actually show you. I basically knitted a swatch. No, I can't show you. I was told it's top secret. It's a new yarn from a yarn company I worked with before, but I was told it was top secret, and I did get in trouble once before, several years ago, for accidentally showing a yarn by this yarn company on my Instagram. I hadn't been told by the magazine that the yarn was a brand new yarn, hadn't been released yet, and it was top secret. And I had, within like 5 minutes of posting this picture, I had both the yarn company message me, and then a few minutes later I had the magazine call me on my house phone and say, please take the picture down, we were supposed to tell you not to show it. So I'm not showing you this or the yarn, but I'm knitting the swatch because I wound the yarn yesterday and I'm going to send it off to one of my sample knitters for her to knit it for me. So I wanted to knit the swatch from one of the balls I balled up last night, so I don't have to wind up the 4th. I've got a 4th skein just in case, but I don't think I'm going to need it, but I asked for 400 grams just in case, but I don't want to wind that up if I don't need to. So I've knitted, oh, my video has saved, thank goodness. So I have knitted the swatch this morning. Last night I worked on my lace scarf, and then all my knitting so far this morning has been on the swatch to get that done. So, and then I packed up the yarn and it's ready to send off to my sample knitter. I was going to show you, because I cast on at my desk this morning when I started work, as I started editing a video, I didn't have any circular needles here. I did actually think after I started that I did have circular needles, but they were in my workshop bag. So I used my straight needles, and I never use straight needles. These are signature needle craft arts, I don't know, signature needles, and they're 4mm, and I ordered them from the States many years ago. They are ridiculously expensive. I can't remember how much these were, but they're very expensive. At the time, I spoke to somebody who ran a kind of upmarket online yarn shop here in the UK, and they said they had looked into stocking these, but they were just too expensive to import. So I ordered these and a set of double pointer needles online from the States just to try them out, because you can, I think they're handmade. You can customize the tips. These are the stiletto tips, I think, and there are other tips, like these are the pointiest one, I think. And then you can also, on the straight needles, you can customize the ends, and then they come color coded according to needle size. You can't customize the color. And I should have bought 4mm. I thought I'll buy 4mm because they're the ones I use the most, but I should have bought a 4mm circular needle, not straight needles, because I never use straight needles. At least I bought short straight needles, which I would occasionally use them just for knitting swatches, just to make sure I use them, but they normally sit in this pen pot on my desk, and I haven't used them for years, so I grabbed those, and they're quite nice to knit with. I won't be getting any more of those unless I happen to go to the States and have spare money to spend, because they are ridiculously expensive. So I thought I'd just share that. So I'm going to go and run some errands and then come back and do some more knitting. It is 4:20 in the afternoon, and I'm sitting down to do some knitting. I've actually been home for about an hour, I guess, but I've done my nails because they looked a mess. So I've been sitting here waiting for them to dry. So I'm now about to start my knitting. I have that much yarn left. I think it's less than 20 grams. So I am going to finish this now. Hopefully. Got about an hour and a half, 2 hours to dinner, I guess. So I'm going to try and finish this. I've got a sweater drying, blocking on the dining room table. So I need to check on that in a minute and see if that's dry. And other than that, I'm going to knit for the rest of the day till I fall asleep. Once I finish this, I've got my poncho over there waiting for me. There's some beautiful flowers that Simon got me last week. And then I am watching telly. I'll break at the moment, but I'm watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City because that is my afternoon guilty pleasure. I'm sitting in the garden because it's starting to cloud over and it is a bit windy today. It is Sunday. I didn't really film yesterday on Saturday because I was very busy cleaning most of the day. It was overcast yesterday, the odd rain shower, looked gloomy and a bit miserable all day. So I mainly spent the day cleaning because we're getting rid of my parents arriving. So I cleaned like the whole lounge and the hallway. I got a little bit of a corner in the lounge where I keep my knitting. I got to do that. I was going to do that today, but I'm feeling a bit stiff and sore and in a bit of pain today, so I thought I would leave it till tomorrow. So I'm sitting in the garden, just come out, got my lunch. There's a vegetarian or vegan really curry with some pea shoots underneath. I had been knitting for about an hour today, just gone 1 o'clock, worked out and done other things today as well. And I've started a clutch bag of my own design. I'll talk more about that probably tomorrow, but I've been knitting on this. Started knitting the base yesterday evening, and then this is all I've been knitting on today. And I'm going to try and see if I can do as much on this as possible today. Really happy with it so far. It's a bit of an experiment, but hopefully it'll turn into a pattern and maybe also some workshops. And yesterday I knitted 2 hours and 38 minutes or 3 hours and 38 minutes. See if I can access my notes on here. There we go. So yesterday I knitted 2 hours and 38 minutes. Friday I knitted 209 minutes. So what's that? That's 3 hours and 3.5 hours. And today so far I've done an hour and 18 minutes. So not too much so far today, but that's okay. I'm going to do a lot of knitting this afternoon. Simon's finishing up decorating our ensuite shower room. He's he was working on that all day yesterday. He's laid new flooring, painted the walls, part of the walls is tiles, cleaned the shower screen, and I think he's painting the door now and just tidying up. So once he's finished that and relaxed and showered and things, we are probably going to take Alfie out for a walk somewhere because we haven't done that yet today. But it's nice and warm today and it's sunny again, so I'm going to enjoy a bit of sunshine and a bit of knitting and lunch in the garden. So different location today. I was going to film this upstairs because I've just been in my office doing some work, but it was just so hot. So I came downstairs, a little bit cooler down here. Our bedrooms at the back of the house, which is where my office is and my husband's office is. They are the warmest rooms in the house, and it's not too sunny today. It's a little bit overcast, but it's so hot. And those rooms are just always hot. So came back downstairs. It's about nearly 3:30 in the afternoon. I popped into town to run some errands after lunch. I had a late lunch because I was writing a pattern this morning, and I'm looking a bit hot because the air conditioning is broken in our car, so our car was quite hot. And then I went straight upstairs to pack all the stuff I need for my workshop tomorrow because I'm teaching all day tomorrow. And I had everything ready, I just hadn't packed my bags. I'd done that, and that took me, I don't know, 15 minutes. And that was enough time spent in my room. I'm just too hot. So let me show you what I've been knitting. So yesterday I mostly worked on this thing, which is going to be a clutch bag. I'm not, hang on, let me just grab this. So it's going to attach to one of these frames, which I ordered 4 of from Etsy, and they came on Saturday, I think. So I kind of would like to finish this today or tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to work on it today. I'm knitting, holding 2 strands of DK double on 4mm needles, and it's quite dense and quite heavy because I wanted a fairly dense fabric. But I'm wondering whether to rip it all out and use 4.5mm needles because I feel like it's a bit too dense. It's just feeling, I mean, I've only used 100, 103, 200, no, 150, less than 150 grams. So it's not heavy, but it just feels a bit heavy. So I don't know, I think I'm going to put this on hold for the rest of today. And I mean, I don't have that much left to do, probably like 5 centimeters. But I think I'm going to put that, I worked on it a lot yesterday, so I think I'm going to put it on hold for the rest of today and work on something else. So I also picked up earlier today my poncho, which I haven't worked on for a few days. I finished the second ball, so I started ball number 3. I don't know how many stitches I've got. I haven't counted for a while, but it's rounds are very long. Yeah, I need to knit a bit more on that. I really want to finish that this week and get the pattern ready to send off to my tech editor by Friday, because for the next 2 weeks after this week I won't be doing much work because my parents are here for 10 days. They leave kind of on a Wednesday, so I can't imagine on the Thursday and Friday that week I'll get a lot done. So that'll basically be like 2 weeks where I'll do very little work. So it'd be great to get this finished and off to my tech editor before they come, although if I don't manage it, also means I can block it. It's not that easy to block it while they're here because I block it on the dining room table and we'll be using that for meals. So it would be best if I can finish this. So I think I'm going to prioritise that today and tomorrow evening tomorrow, because I'm teaching, I won't be doing much knitting during the day. I'm taking my socks with me, and I might get some sock knitting done in the car while I'm waiting to teach, because I usually get there a bit early, just in case traffic's bad and things. And I tend to sit in the car, and I usually scroll on social media a bit and do a bit of knitting. I'm just knitting a bit now, actually. I was getting all my stuff. Oh, I've just realised I was supposed to be polling and I knitted. That's what you get for not concentrating. I was packing my stuff for my workshop tomorrow. I'm teaching finishing techniques, and everyone had been asked to bring a certain number of pieces of like knitted squares to work on, so they can practice sewing up and picking up stitches and 3 needle cast off and things like that. A few other things, short rows. But occasionally somebody forgets, so I'd like to have a couple of pieces knitted up that I can lend out. And also I need a piece for me to practice on, or for me to demonstrate on rather, not practice, for me to demonstrate on. So when I went through the stuff in my workshop, I didn't have any spare squares, so I need to knit one. So that's the first thing I'm going to do now, is knit a couple of squares, just stocking stitch, about 10 by 10 centimeters maybe, and then I'm going to work on my poncho. I don't know, I'm trying to decide what my nails need doing. I like to have them nicely looking nice. I think they look okay, so I might leave it and see if I can get away with it. I like them to look nice when I teach, but if I do them tonight, then I can't knit. So I'm thinking about waiting and maybe do them tomorrow night instead, if I need to. But hopefully I should get a decent amount of knitting done today. Need to go grocery shopping tonight, so that'll take an hour out of my knitting, I guess. But I'm going to knit for the next couple of hours till dinner time. And as usual, even though I think I'm knitting for 2 hours, I'll probably get like an hour and a half done, or an hour done or something. I don't think I've said how much I knitted yesterday, Sunday. So yesterday, I didn't do much yesterday, mainly relaxed, worked out and things, and then mainly relaxed. And I knitted 4 hours and 45 minutes. We went out for a little bit in the afternoon to walk Alfie. 4 hours and 45 minutes. I think that's the longest I've knitted on any day since I started this experiment. So that's pretty good. Most of it on that drudge. Anyway, I'm going to sit down and do some knitting. So it's Tuesday morning and I'm sitting in the car. I'm teaching today at Spinning Yarn in Bovey Tracy in Devon. It's about an hour's drive from where I live, but before the pandemic, every time I used to teach here and other places that were about where I had to go through Plymouth to get to, I would drop my husband off at work to save us taking 2 cars through Plymouth. Now he works from home, but he decided to go into work today. I think they want him to come into the office a bit more often, so even though he doesn't have to go in all the time, I think showing your face every so often is a good idea. So he's gone into the office today because I was driving through Plymouth anyway, so we thought he might as well, and then we won't waste time driving, waste petrol. So it means I got here way too early because I had to drop him off, and I've no idea what traffic is like anymore because I've not done it for such a long time and all that kind of stuff. So dropped him off quite early and carried on to here, and I've been scrolling Twitter for a bit, and I got about another 15 minutes, I think. Yeah, about 15 minutes before I want to walk up to the shop. And so I'm sitting in the car and doing a bit of knitting. I just got my knitting out, knitting mine on my sock. I was thinking I would probably get this finished on Sunday when we drive to Heathrow Airport to pick my parents up, but I'm waiting for some yarn to arrive for a new design, so if that arrives this week I might cast on for that instead, because that would be a fairly easy thing to knit in the car when Simon's driving, but it depends when the yarn comes and whether I have time to swatch and write the pattern and all that kind of stuff. So at the moment I'm knitting on my sock, because I usually keep that in my bag, and I would like to finish these. These are for Simon. About, I don't know, 20 rounds into the leg maybe, so not a lot. Anyway, yesterday's knitting total, Monday's knitting total was 2.5 hours. Not great really, but we were out a lot in the evening. We went shopping, and we didn't get back till fairly, well, it was nearly 9 o'clock by the time we got back, I think. So yeah, I didn't get a lot of knitting done yesterday really, 2.5 hours. Mind you, a couple of days I've only done an hour. So what I've learned this week from tracking my knitting is that I'm not doing as much knitting every day as I think I am. I've not been working on a deadline this week, so that makes a bit of a difference, because if I'm working on a deadline then I have to knit. So if I'd had a deadline this week that I had to finish, I would have had to knit. But I probably spend too much time scrolling on social media like we all do. Anyway, I'm going to knit for a bit now till it's time to go up to the shop. It is Thursday again, and my weekly knitting experiment is basically over. So obviously last day was yesterday, so I'm not counting any knitting I've done today. Not that I've actually done that much today. It is another very hot day here in Cornwall. It's been hot all week, and I do wonder how much that has impacted on how much I've knitted this week. I haven't knitted as much as I thought I do in a week. I know this is just 1 week, and I had one day when I was teaching, and last weekend I was quite busy. On Saturday I did a lot of cleaning, which I wouldn't normally do. So I do wonder how much that has impacted on how much I knit, and how much the weather has impacted on how much I knit, because it has been incredibly hot this week. As you can see, I do look a bit hot at the moment. I've just been out running some errands. I've come back to my office. It's the afternoon. The sun's straight in here, which is why I got my curtains closed, which is why the lighting is a bit funny. And air conditioning is broken in our car, so I've had the windows open, and I'm just absolutely roasting. So I actually managed earlier to knock my diffuser here off the shelf and ruin my book. But I can see how much I've been knitting. I also kept track of it on my phone, so this isn't completely obscure, but it is also on my phone. So Sunday was the day I knitted the most, which was 4 hours and something minutes. Hang on, let me just, it was 283 minutes. So 4 times 60 is 240. So it was 4 hours and 43 minutes on Sunday. So that was the most knitting I did in a day. I thought if somebody asked me how much knitting do you normally do, I would normally say if I have a day where I'm working from home, I normally knit a bit mid-morning, about half an hour to an hour at lunchtime, and then I normally finish work between 3 and 4, and I go downstairs and I sit down, watch telly, and I knit for a couple of hours. Then we have dinner, and then I knit till I go to bed. It's about 9, 9:30. So I would have said I knit 4 to 5 hours every single day, and turns out I don't. I was trying to be really good at every time I picked up my phone to scroll Twitter or Instagram, I tried to pause what I was doing. I also do wonder, because the start of the week I was working a lot on this scarf, and I was coming towards the end of that because I finished that on Friday and I started this last Thursday and I finished on Friday. So I wonder whether the first couple of days I was getting a little bit bored. Thursday I knitted an hour and 45 minutes, which there was no reason why I should knit that little last Thursday. Friday was 3.5 hours, I think. Saturday, hang on, 158 minus. Saturday was 2 hours and 38 minutes, which is quite a lot considering the fact that I did a lot of cleaning. Sunday I said was 4 hours and 45 minutes. Monday was nearly 2.5 hours. Tuesday was the shortest day, which was 1 hour and 10 minutes, but that was because I was teaching all day. And when I got home, I didn't get home till about 6, I think, and I was very, very tired, so I didn't do much knitting on Tuesday evening because I was just so tired. Wednesday, 2 hours and 50 minutes. That was yesterday. There's no reason why I shouldn't have done more yesterday. I had a busy day yesterday. What did I do yesterday? No, I was only out in the morning. I don't think I did much in the afternoon. Oh, I ran a few errands yesterday, so I was in and out of the car a lot yesterday, but there's no reason why I shouldn't have done more knitting yesterday. So far today, I've done about half an hour, I think. I didn't do any knitting at lunchtime. I've got a new project ready to cast on in my project bag, and I took that outside with me when I had lunch, and I didn't pick it up because I thought I would cast on while I was having lunch, and I didn't. So I've done no knitting yet so far today. Today's knitting I'm not counting because I'm not keeping track. I stopped keeping track yesterday. By the way, last week I started this experiment on Thursday. I started this the Saturday before, so this one I started on the Saturday and I finished it last Friday. So I knitted that in 7 days. It's nearly 2 meters long and about 26 centimeters wide, I think. It takes 100 grams skein or 4-ply or fingering weight yarn, and it has beads, but only beads every 10 rounds or so. 4 beads, and then the next, after 10 rounds, it's got 5 beads. So every alternate between 4 and 5 beads every 10 rounds. So it's not a lot of beads. And that took me 7 days and 14 hours and 18 minutes to knit. And during the 7 days I knitted that, I did knit a couple other things. I knitted on my poncho a few times. So I did do a couple other things, but not a lot. So I think this last 7 days I've done more knitting than I did during the 7 days I knitted this. I know the last 2 days of knitting this overlaps with the current experiment, but if you don't know what I mean. But so 18.5 hours, 18 hours and 28 minutes is what I knitted this week. So how much is that per day? Hang on, let's see. 18, if we say 18.5, hang on, 18, 7. So that's about just over 2.5 hours a day. So it's 1,008 minutes, I think it is. 158 minutes a day. That's 2 hours and, so say 2 hours and 40 minutes a day. That's the average. I know Tuesday brings it down because I was teaching all day. So yeah, the conclusion is that I knitted a lot less than I thought I did this week. I will probably repeat this experiment maybe in the autumn because it has been hot this week. So maybe I'll repeat this experiment in the autumn and see how much I knit compared to this. I might also repeat it once when I'm on holiday and see how that affects my knitting output. Anyway, I hope you thought this was interesting. I found it interesting. I think I need to put my phone down more often and actually pick up my needles. I'm sure I'm not the only one like that. Anyway, let me know what you think. Do you know roughly how much you knit a day? And does it, if you time yourself when you knit, does that actually reflect how much you think you knit every day? Does that make sense? Do you knit as much every day as you think you do? Anyway, let me know. your views on this, and if you do a similar experiment, let me know. Even if you just do it for a day, let me know how you get on. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.